What's up guys, welcome back to my Battlegrounds playthrough. My name is Alex and this time we are visiting the Lotus Wasteland. Now we're being told that the Lotus are shaping to be quite the adversary. I'm sure that even Kenji would agree that they all must be taught a lesson. We'll wipe out all their people and buildings and move on. We can now build a keep to house our Zen masters, so protecting our leaders is no longer essential. My best bet is that you need to have that impression of Otomo took over Kenji's voice when you're being briefed before you're getting into the map.
Immediately.
At any rate, this map is not forgiving at all, and it can get easily longer than the Serpent Hole map. Now, when I'm saying that it is not forgiving, I mean that I don't have much time to screw around. I need to set up a base ASAP.
For the dragon.
The issue is that all the spots with the rice that you see on the map are actually occupied. So what needs to be done is to find an enemy base that can pose the least amount of threat to me and make do with what little forces I've been given at the beginning. So while the offensive units take the lead into enemy lines, what I want to do is have a peasant hut built. That peasant hut will produce peasants that will run to the middle of the base and hopefully draw the attention of enemy units. If you have been listening to what I said in the Serpent Hole map, I've mentioned that it is dangerous to go into enemy bases without drawing their defenses outside of the base first. I mentioned a few reasons why you shouldn't do it, and one of them was that enemy peasants can draw your attention while a real threat is killing you. Now, if you think about it, I'm taking the same principle and turn it towards this Lotus base. In case my peasants just stand there without being useful, I can still draw attention by sending them to commit suicide and attack random units. Technically, I'm sending them on a suicide mission in the first place anyway, but their sacrifice will never be forgotten. I promise.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the previous video I didn't explain about my choice at the end of the map, but I promised to do so in this video. If you will go back to the last map, you will see that we were presented with 3 choices. 2 of them were related to the Wolf clan and 1 to the Lotus clan. 2 of these choices have a Zen master hidden in it and 1 doesn't. So the choice to the left, where Shinja says that we can flank the Wolf clan, does not have any Zen masters in it. I'm sorry, it's a bummer. I know. The middle choice, which is a frontal assault towards the Wolf mines, has a Zen master that goes by the name Gala. Since I did not choose that path, I will talk briefly about her because we are going to come across her in the Wolf campaign as well. Gala is a druid that is a wolf-oriented Zen master, and is used more as a supporting character because of her battle gear. It causes ally units around her to instantly heal at the cost of almost all of her stamina points, if I recall correctly. Also, if she stands idly, she has that animation of growing flowers around her. Now, if that animation goes into motion on a field of rice, for an instance, the rice field grows faster.
Yes.
Anyways, maybe I'll talk more about her after we come across her in the Winter of the Wolf campaign. And back to the topic of choosing a path in the previous map.
Yes, right.
The right path was explained by Otomo that the Lotus clan is the real threat, and they need to be dealt with while their backs are to the sea. Personally, Otomo's explanation was more reasonable than Shinja's, in my opinion, so that's what I picked.
Yes. Right.
I am in your debt. So it begins.
Now I'm sure that there will be viewers that are watching the video because of the title. So yes, you can get Soban on this map, and I'll show you how. So if you really want to get Soban, that complicates things even more than the map itself, and it lengthens the time you play it. The golden rule is to not attack any major base of the Lotus clan, though you are permitted to lay waste to outposts.
Dragon, guide my arrow.
To make things a bit simpler for you, I'll point the time in the video description when Soban's dialogue triggers.
Yes.
Immediately.
As you command.
In the previous map, I said that if you hear me saying something in the context of a long map, you should start guessing if you're battling against two clans at once.
Yes, sir.
Now this situation is a bit different. You might not have two clans to fight, but you do have to go through a map that swarms with the Lotus. And basically you will stumble into them no matter where you go in the map.
Yes. I follow the dragon.
To add oil to the fire, you have two main bases that act individually, even though they are under the same banner. So if I have a maximum of 30 units in my possession, my best bet is that they will have about 50 or 60 units.
All right. Right. Yes, sir.
If all I mentioned so far does not stagger you, try this. Each of these bases has a Zen Master that leads it. And of course, each Zen Master has an ace up his sleeve with his abilities.
Yes, sir. All right.
So you've got Issyl that is located in the southwest corner in the map and can be really troublesome as he is a supporting Zen Master that can speed nearby ally units. Now that speed boost is no joke. It boosts the ground covering rate whenever a unit walks or runs and can be used effectively as a surprise attack. In addition to increased movement speed, you've got an increase of attack speed as well. At any rate, Issyl's ability can be used for both offensive and defensive situations.
Going.
Yes. All right.
On the other hand, there is Koril that is located in the north on the map and east from my base. Generally, I love Koril, but I really hate to fight against him. He has got two of the most annoying abilities that can be used against you. One of them would be teleportation, and as the name implies, he can teleport to any spot on the map. The second ability is probably my biggest nightmare because he has an aura that covers him and makes projectiles that are aimed his way to miss. There is a small chance that some projectiles will hit him, and hopefully some of my arrows will reach their target with the help of that small chance.
Lead the way.
Yes.
Yes, master.
Now, according to Battle Realms lore, Issyl and Koril are not in good terms, mildly speaking. But even though they hate each other, you shouldn't expect them to attack one another like two rival clans. I'm always the primary target.
Yes, sir. I follow the dragon. I'm going.
Now, the spot I picked for my base
Yes.
could be looked as a bit problematic for two main reasons. One is that it's short on space, and you need to remember that I can build a
Okay.
keep now, which is a huge building on its own.
I
And we also
follow the
need to
dragon.
build a town square, of course. That is also a
Yes.
rather big building. That is why I'm trying to push
I
buildings
follow the
close to each
dragon.
other as much as I can and try to save some space.
I walk your path.
Like an arrow.
The second reason is related to safety. The map by itself is really hostile because it is designed in a way that you can have a height advantage in one moment, and the moment after you could be in a disadvantage. And
Yes.
if you've been paying attention while I was building my base, you could notice that there is like a narrow passage above my
All right.
town square. That passage is leading to Koril's base.
I follow the dragon.
Certainly. On target.
Now, if I'll be unlucky, Koril will send ranged units to that passage
Lead the
and they
way.
will have a perfect vantage point on my base. If this will be the case, I might
Guide
be
my
in trouble
way.
because
I
I won't
sense
be
your
able to
purpose.
just send units to deal with them. To get to that passage, I need to go through his base from the other side, and if you
Yes,
should
sir.
have learned anything about battle realms so far, it is that you don't just blindly
Yes.
enter a base.
All right. Right.
Alright,
Yes.
so if you look
All
at the
right.
map, you can see those brown dots that move around, and if you
Right.
remember, I said
I'm
that these
going.
dots
Yes, sir.
represent horses. So there are two patches of horse packs, but I'm going to aim at the pack that is located in the middle-ish on the map.
I follow the dragon.
Now I did say in earlier
A
videos that I
servant
prefer using
obeying.
horses with geishas. That way they can conserve more stamina and be more efficient. Sometimes I can put an
Yes.
archer on a horseback and try to increase his survivability. But I would not recommend mounting a samurai on a horse because he will not be able to commit seppuku when he is out of health.
All right. Yes. Yes, sir. All right. Right.
So the plan is to take an army, add a peasant to it,
For the
and
dragon.
start marching towards that pack of horses I mentioned.
I hear.
Now remember that I want to be as careful as I can not to let any unit to enter a base and
Like an
trigger a
arrow.
monologue from the Zen masters,
Guide my way.
or else my chances of getting
Like an
Soban
arrow.
will be gone.
Guide my way. I hear.
The reason I want to pick a peasant with me is because I want to build a
Like an
stable
arrow.
there and use that peasant to train horses. The issue is that these horses are in between Issyl's base and an outpost, so we'll have to see how smooth all that operation goes.
Yes, sir.
Now I want to build a fireworks factory, which is, by the way, another new building along with the keep that I can build now.
Yes.
The factory allows me to further train a unit and add ability or a battle gear to it.
Right.
I just want to train a chemist or two and add some building destructive power to my forces. I might not have used it earlier, but there is also a building that is called a shrine, and it can also be used as a method to teach a battle gear to a unit. Although logically, and as you might have guessed, both buildings equip each unit with a different battle gear. Personally, I am more prone towards the factory than to the shrine, and that is why I didn't bother building it before.
Certainly. On target. With bow in
Now, of
hand.
course, each building will have a description of its own, and according to Battlegrounds Wiki, the fireworks factory is actually a realization of the alchemist's dream, where he can now work in a more spacious environment and make experiments to his feel.
Thank you.
On the other hand, we've got the shrine, which is described as a small peaceful place where warriors can meditate. Now, there are many ways you can play with both of these buildings, it's just that I don't get too carried away with it because I have my own playstyle and a select type of units. What can I say? The power of habit. So I think the best way to showcase what you can do with the shrine and the factory is just sending some units to train there. Now you've already seen me sending archers to the factory to teach them how to use fire arrows, and if I were to send them to the shrine, they would learn the same skill Ara has.
I follow the dragon. Yes, sir. I follow the dragon.
I can tell you right away that the battle gears for the geisha are pretty useless. Sacrifice is an ability that can be learned at the shrine, and it will allow the geisha to heal all the units surrounding her at the cost of her own life. It can be somewhat effective for people who are good at micromanaging, for example.
Okay.
In the factory, you can grant the geisha a fire shield. It might sound cool, but it's really not as effective as you might imagine. It just applies a continuous damage to the units that attack her, but I've already gone through the fact that the geishas aren't meant to withstand attacks anyway, so there is that. The only fire shields I've seen that were actually effective are the ones that Geralt has in The Witcher 3 or the Efreet Sultans from Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Probably one of my most favorite units in the franchise as well. If I send the spearman to the shrine, he will learn the ability to stun units,
On the way.
which might come in handy if he doesn't die first, that is.
On it. I'm off.
Or I can send him to the factory where he will learn the whirling spear battle gear that goes for the offensive side of the unit, and it will damage the units that are in front of him when used. I'm gonna go with the stun battle gear and try to buy some time for my archers in the time of need, if the effect really applies in the first place. So it's high time that I should start moving towards the horses. While I'm moving, try to take a look around and figure out why I mentioned that this map can be really hostile. Might want to move that samurai away from the corpse of the deceased one to avoid post-mortem damage, as I mentioned in the previous video. Now these trees over there are blocking my line of sight, so raining down fire on them can be really effective.
On target. I have focus.
I understand. I hear.
Visually, I'm not too far away from the spot I want to reach, but unfortunately I need to walk around to get there, and it will be near Issyl's base. God damn it, they took me by surprise.
Guide my way.
Yes, Lord.
Alright, so that was unexpected. I'll skip to the part where I will reform my army and go on with it.
I'm going.
Look at that! These guys are just relentless. They just attacked me from two flanks, which is a sign that the group was from Koril's base in tandem with Issyl's forces.
I'm going. Yes, sir. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, we are back to the
follow
fold.
the dragon.
Let's resume our plan and keep moving towards the horses.
Yes. I sense your purpose. Guide my way. I sense your purpose.
And here is an example of having a height advantage, as I've mentioned earlier.
Like an arrow. I understand.
It
I don't
shall
mind
be.
having Ara as an adjacent unit because as a Zen master she can generally take more punishment than a regular unit.
I hear. Like an arrow. I understand.
See that? She can handle it no problem.
I am blessed.
Oh, I haven't noticed that the rain stopped pouring. It's a good sign for me, especially for my fire arrows. It's cool to see how even though there are trees in the way, my arrows still find their way because of their sheer quantity. Trees act as buildings in the game, so if I were to light them up with fire, they would break in time. Or damage it enough with physical power and they will break as well, but quicker.
Empty the mine and
You will see me cutting down trees a lot in this game. Plus it makes my OCD happy.
we enter the storm. Certainly, I have focus. Arrows ready. It shall be.
Like an arrow. I understand. Guide my way.
The servant obeys. Moving.
I hear.
Walking in narrow passages like that makes me feel like I'm walking right into a trap.
Guide my way. I hear. Guide my way. I sense your purpose. I understand.
Looks like it wasn't far from my thoughts after all.
For the dragon.
I sense your purpose.
And here's the platform I wanted to reach all this
I
time.
have focus.
Yes. For the dragon.
Certainly.
Okay, there are trees here and you already know the drill.
With bow in hand. Certainly. On target. Dragon, guide my arrows. Take aim. Arrows ready. Take aim. Arrows ready. Take aim. Target found. Certainly. The mind is focused.
Yes, sir.
Good enough for me. Now I just need to stand guard here and build a stable and equip my units with the horses I'll train here.
Yes.
Dragon, guide my arrows.
Looks like they haven't given up on me yet.
It shall be. Focused and steady. Certainly. On target.
Oh boy, this is bad.
I understand.
Oh crap, I lost Ara.
I am yours. We will prevail. We. Yes, Lord.
This cannot be happening. I don't even know if I should
The
train
servant
horses now.
obeys.
I hear.
All right.
The moment Ara died, I knew that most
My
likely I'm
bow
dead
is
meat already.
strong. Focused and steady.
Let's try to rescue this situation by placing the archers on the
With
edge
bow
and
in
watch
hand.
for incoming attacks.
On target.
Maybe I'll be able to stall a bit till I send
Right.
reinforcements to this spot.
Issyl.
Yeah, here's for hoping. Give me yank points, Supoku. Gonna beat them with a peasant now. He sure showed them. Alright, so I need to recuperate from that massacre.
Yes, sir.
I won't have you guys watching me
Yes.
remaking my army, so I'll skip to the point where I'm back in action. Okay, let's try this again.
Like an
Last
arrow,
time I went past Issyl's
guide my
base.
way. I sense your purpose.
This time I'll try to go the other way around and see how well that goes.
I understand. I hear.
By the way, when you're using ranged units and go through narrow passages, you can have an advantage.
Yes, sir.
I sense your purpose. I hear. Guide
If I place the more vulnerable units in the middle of the group, the enemy will have a hard time to reach them. So if I were to place geishas there to heal the units that are in the front, you've got a good survivability tactic there. So again, I have an advantage here. I can aggro the units from the outpost and deal with them when they go up.
I hear.
I have focus.
Guide my way.
Would you look at that? Even when I'm on the offensive, they still find the units to attack my base.
Head on.
Forward! Attack! Moving. I follow the dragon. Yes. All right.
I understand.
Focused and steady.
I follow. Moving. I hear. Guide my way. I hear.
I have focus.
Oh wow, they are keeping at it.
As you will.
It shall be. Focused and steady.
You tell, I go.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Done.
Like an arrow. Like an arrow.
All right.
Okay, so again, building a stable and try to survive for a change.
Yes, master. I'm going. Yes.
Let's try sending some men to my group and see if they will survive the trip. Experimenting with lives like alchemists with gunpowder. So I might want to research stirrups, because when a mounted unit is getting surrounded, the horse can freak out and drop the rider, and that is the last thing I want to happen when I have a geisha on a horse.
Horses, hot on the trail.
Hit and run, baby.
Hold your horses, hot on the trail.
Certainly. Focused and steady.
Hold your horses. Yep.
Okay. Lead the way. I follow.
Aim is true.
Eventually she will run out of ravens. So, unfortunately, sending reinforcements was a fail. Okay, so I'll equip Arrow with the horse because I don't have much use of her battle gear. And I know I said I don't recommend using a horse with a samurai, but I'll still give it a try.
Yes, Lord.
So this hill is all out of horses and I have nothing else to do here. So let's get moving towards Soban.
Moving. Yes. Like an arrow.
Oh, that's bad. What I said that could happen to me actually happens.
Yes, sir.
Bless you, Watchtower, and the peasants that kept it standing.
Oh yes.
I follow the dragon.
Like an arrow.
Now that does not look good.
On target. I have focus.
Oh wow, they surrounded me. Let's see if I can get out of this one. Seriously? A third attack?
I hear. Lead the way.
And here we go. A horse died and the samurai didn't commit seppuku. At least I got to demonstrate it.
Lead the way. Yes, lead the way.
Thank you. I am blessed.
Straight and true. Like an arrow.
Let's just run for it, it's getting hairy out here.
I hear. I understand. I sense your purpose. I sense your purpose. I understand. I hear.
On target with bow in hand. I have focus.
Moving. Yes.
Certainly. I have focus. Certainly.
Damn, all
I
my hard
sense
work
your
gone for
purpose.
nothing.
Guide my way.
Send the golems, Soban.
I won't. The golems aren't warriors, Koril.
Detonate them
No,
or I'll...
no, 1,000 times no! I'll not sacrifice my little ones to Zymeth's mad schemes.
It
I
shall be
sooner join the serpents.
with bow
I
in
am
hand.
Zymoth's second, and you'll do as I say.
That's it. I'm through with you and your wretched clan. I'm going.
And please let me introduce you to Soban, the golem creator. So the golems Soban creates can be used as an alternative to peasants in terms of gathering resources and building. Now that argument that Soban had was with Koril, and Koril asked Soban to send the golems as suicide units because when they die they detonate and can harm surrounding units. I don't know what made Soban reject Koril's command, but I did read that it can be related to emotions towards his creations.
I understand. I hear.
As for my usage for these golems, I'm going to use them as a working force instead of bombers. That is the main reason I preferred Soban over Gala. Ironically, according to the lore of Battle Realms, there is a connection between Soban and Gala, and a rather gruesome one. It is said that Soban is on the lookout for Gala because he wants to capture her and dissect her for studies. Now when Soban joins you, he gets bugged for some reason, you can't really control him. He just keeps running around without a purpose. I don't know why it happens, but he should start obeying commands after a while, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I'm going.
By the way, the two acolytes that were near Soban are most likely his followers and are not hostile towards me, but they are hostile towards the rest of the Lotus clan.
Moving. Yes.
Ah, thank you.
The leaves fall.
I hear.
I'll try to send a golem for my camp, and in the worst case scenario, he will detonate.
I'm going. Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, I'm in a predicament with only archers and one gauge at my side.
I sense your purpose. Hmm. I follow.
Well, I thought that golem is the real MVP, but it ended up dying.
Okay, going. Lead the way. Lead the way.
Oh wow, this group is really making their life a misery. I need to just remember to have a watchful eye on Soban, because if he dies, all that effort was for nothing.
I hear. Hmm. Like an arrow.
She got bugged on me for some reason.
Guide my way.
Okay, since I don't know what I should do with that group, I'll save the game and see how far I can get with it.
I understand. Yes. I follow. What now? Okay.
Immediately.
I just need to hang in there till the reinforcements arrive.
Thank you.
For the dragon. The servant obeys. Yes. Yes, master.
It looks like Soban calmed down. Now I just need to test his loyalty before I try to use him. He didn't start running around after creating a golem, so the golem test was successful.
I sense your purpose. I follow.
Now I need to figure out how to get him to the base before the Lotus overrun his
The
location.
servant obeys.
Moving. Lead the way.
Yes.
Going.
B. On target.
Servant obey.
I think that the best course of action would probably be by adding him to the army and walk him back to base. And in case I'll be flooded with the Lotus, I'll just run for it.
Fine!
Strong.
It's time to unite two armies and lay waste to their outpost. I know that you might not think that outposts are a big deal, but remember that they usually contain peasant huts and training grounds, so I would not get too comfortable with it if I were you.
Yes, yes!
Lead the way. I understand.
For the dragon.
By the way, it completely slipped out of my mind, but I wanted to mention something regarding the yank points. And what I wanted to say is that you shouldn't look at points that weren't spent as a bad thing. On the contrary, when you have piles of yin or yang points, your Zen masters benefit from it greatly. And that would be by having their attack increased with each point by a little. Now, when the game was in its pre-patched version, you could stockpile yin and yang points to big numbers, and would make your Zen masters sort of invincible. So in time the game got patched, and for the sake of balancing the game, the amount of points that you could accumulate was reduced to a maximum of 10 points. But just so that you know, even 10 points can show changes in strength for your heroes.
I understand.
I am blessed.
I thought that I'm in trouble for a sec, but Ara took it like a pro. They give off that feeling as if they are trying to throw every bit of units they've got to stop me. I wonder if they smell defeat yet.
Like an arrow. Like an arrow. Like an arrow.
Yes, yes!
Okay, cool, so I got to a spot where I can take Soban safely to my base and have him secured.
Right. Yes, Lord. I'm going.
From this point on, you can look at this level as if I was to start it without the intention of recruiting Soban, because basically everything I have done so far and all the time I have spent was for the sake of taking precautions to ensure that Soban won't get into any trouble whatsoever. So when I said that taking on the quest of recruiting Soban was time consuming, you know now that I wasn't kidding. So now that I have Soban, I can clear out peasants from gathering resources and appoint them into training. So when I use golems as my gatherers, it usually happens after all the key buildings are already built. That is why I appoint 2 golems for rice collection and 1 for water.
Like an arrow, I hear.
Now I didn't really check it because I don't have a tendency of following the amounts of resources I have, but according to Wiki it is said that golems are more efficient in terms of gathering resources. So if you're interested, you're more than welcome to check it out while I play and tell me and other viewers what you have learned.
Not even. I hear. Lead the way. Okay.
By the way, I don't know if you have noticed, but whenever a horse that you possess dies, it will respawn as a wild one at the same spot you have trained it. You can see it by looking at the map. There are brown spots that appeared again at the same place I have been.
All right, right. I follow the dragon.
I understand. I understand. I sense your purpose. I hear. I hear. Like an arrow. I understand. I sense your purpose. Like an arrow. Guide my way. Like an arrow. I hear. I sense your purpose. I understand. I hear. Yes. I sense your purpose.
This is one of those times that her skill is actually useful.
I hear. I sense your purpose.
And would you look at that? I didn't manage to blink before these suckers killed an archer.
I understand.
Dead on.
I hear.
Come out of there, you!
Calm yourself. I'm alone.
Don't move!
I won't, but I'm afraid I can't speak for my friends.
Typical Koril. Teleports away when he is on the verge of death. And they killed Ara again. Here it is. You've had a chance to see how arrows sway away from him because of his aura.
All right.
Like an arrow.
Now that's a situation I don't really know what the best course of action is. If I leave the entrance I might pay dearly for it later in case Issyl sends reinforcements.
I have focus.
So I've got only one archer that has fire arrows. Let's try to scout for buildings with him.
With bow in hand. I have focus. With bow in hand. I have focus. My aim is clear.
Light 'em up! You tell me I go like fire!
Thank you.
Hang in there, buddy. Okay, I thought it would be a good idea to train a power keg for a change and use him to deal with some buildings. Maybe try to show you his pros and cons and then you might decide if I'm making the right choice of not using him too often. Or not.
Like an arrow. I hear. I understand.
Well, you can see he is really slow and slows down the party as well when he is selected along with them. Ara is practically walking in the pace of his running. Taking a huge risk with them running in the open like that.
Your purpose. Okay.
It is too bad that you can't build ships. I'm sure that if the developers would set their minds into it, they would come up with something really special and creative.
Focused and steady.
My trees!
Going.
Burn!
Target found. On target.
Don't mind me, just using my lumberjacks to chop some trees.
Target found. Dragon, guide my arrows. Empty the mine and seek the target. The mind is focused. Focused and steady. Take aim. We enter the storm. I have focus. The mind is focused. the mine and seek the target. It shall be. Take aim! Arrows ready!
Yes. I hear. I understand.
I wanna try to walk along that huge body of water and have a look around. Maybe I'll find something interesting, like a hut that needs to be burned down, for
Like an
example.
arrow.
I just wanna try to be thorough here.
Guide my
Trekking
way.
back to this place doesn't really fancy me.
I understand. I hear.
I could have done it earlier, but now is not a bad time to research tempered steel as well. Besides, I don't have many
understand.
units that benefit from that boost.
I hear.
I think it's time to separate the power keg from my group, because this space is just
Focused and
unbearable. I might use him for scouting areas that are too small or unnecessary to visit with a big group, or alternatively, have him walk behind my army, and in case I'll spot anything, I'll make him run towards me.
I sense your purpose. Guide my
Well,
way.
this place is
I
dead
hear.
empty. Walking through here was probably a mistake. But at least we've gone sightseeing, right? Anyways, there is no
Like an
point in
arrow.
complaining now. Let's just go through with
I
it.
understand. Guide my way.
I go. I'm moving. I go. I'm moving.
I understand.
Okay, let's take the path down. If the Lotus were to rebuild something, it would probably be
I
here.
understand. Like an arrow. I hear.
I go.
Need to make sure not to forget that fatso.
I move.
Like an arrow. I understand. I hear.
I go.
Maybe it will be a good idea to research pressurized kegs for
Like
extra
an
damage
arrow.
before I use him.
Guide my way.
Last time I left this building standing because I wanted to escape from the Lotus, and it looks like they didn't bother to repair it, meaning they probably gave up on rebuilding that outpost after all. Well, it looks like they were behind me all along.
Going.
Going.
Certainly. It shall be.
Yes.
With bow in
Now is the
hand,
time to invade Issyl's base.
I hear.
Let's see how well 3 geishas will help me.
focused and steady.
Those trees were planted there on purpose. I know it.
Yes. I move.
Moving. Lead the way.
Crush enemy. Yes. I move. Destroy.
Meh. So much for showboating his weapon. He does the same damage the alchemists do at a lower firing rate.
Guide my way. Yes.
Target found. Certainly.
Yes. The servant obeys.
Like an arrow.
Beautiful, isn't it? The sands of time flow at our whim. Why do you still resist us?
I guess I got him in a bad timing. That's what happens when you send off all your units to wander off and leave your base defenseless. Too bad I couldn't show you how dangerous he could be. For once I won't order my units to stand their ground and let them do as they will for a change.
Like an arrow.
They have decided to show up after all.
Like an arrow. I hear.
I am pretty sure that if they had no defenses in their base, I'm going to have it all unleashed on my base.
On my way.
Yes, yes.
Well, I was right, and Otomo is a goner.
I'm going. Fine. I'm going.
That old man is so stubborn, he refuses to obey me.
Yes, yes. I'm going. Crush them.
My bow is strong.
Well, 2 watchtowers are down. I wonder if Koril's base was rebuilt and has a hand in it as well.
Done.
Fine.
As you command.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they still have tricks up their sleeve.
I am blessed.
Like an arrow. I understand.
It's a good thing I placed a geisha on that tower.
Bow in hand.
Shinja could have turned into sushi without her.
Yes. For the dragon.
Guide my way. Like an arrow.
I didn't expect to see so many peasants here, and seeing them gathering like that gives me a good sense that I'm going to finish that map soon enough.
I understand.
I'm not done yet, so it means I probably need to backtrack to Koril's base.
I hear. Guide my way. I understand. I sense your purpose. I understand. I hear. Guide my way.
I'm ruling.
I sense your purpose. Like an arrow.
I go.
Man, it's probably the worst unit to have for scouting. But I can't find a place for him in my army, unfortunately. And going back to train him into a samurai is a long way.
I'm moving.
I sense your purpose.
Yeah, so I've overlooked this part here. They probably hide there.
I understand.
For the dragon.
Oh wow, I've stopped those samurais just in time.
I hear. I understand.
Yes.
I hear.
Well, they are coming from the direction of Koril's base, and that's not a good sign. But have you noticed that they only send one type of units against me? My best bet is that they have a peasant hut and a training yard hidden away somewhere to train staff adepts.
I understand. I hear.
Here is the training yard. And here's my clue for the peasant hut's location.
I'm moving.
Yes. You tell, I go. Fast, like
Bingo. So I assume this is the end of this map. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from it. I'm Alex from your game therapy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
You're hurt.
I'll live.
Not too much pain for you, I hope. Our enemies understand pain and sacrifice. They're doomed, of course, but at least they don't cower in their villages.
If you have something to say...
Say? I don't have anything to say.
Kenji will kill you for this.
Kenji's gone. The Serpent Clan needs strong leaders, not weaklings. Take him.
Lord Zymoth.
Shh. Look.
It's beautiful, Lord.
It won't be so pretty once the diseased ones are through with it. You have news.
The Wolf Clan has retreated to their keep.
Good. It's only a matter of time before they serve us again. And what is this I hear of peasants marching under the Serpent banner?
An Oja leads the army.
That's impossible. I saw their corpses burn.
It's the second son, Kenji, the one they called the Dragon.
And where is his head?
I don't have it.
Wasteful.
He angered me. You didn't tell me you'd left one of Oja's sons alive.
His army weakens. We use the servant against the master.
You're doing this?
Already done.
Some of my people don't care for you.
People die.
Some.
All.
Just the same, I like you. You brought me the Serpent's Orb.
The orb does not matter.
Of course it does. We owe you much. Gone so soon?
I am always here.